Alright everyone, let's talk about centroids. So centroids are formed by medians, and medians, as opposed to what we saw for circumcenters, are just bisectors. And so it meets the opposite side at the midpoint. Give me 1 second. And so what happens here is that this red line is the median, and so what we have is that the left and right sides of M are equal. And the special property that we have is that medians are concurrent at this point that's called the centroid. So this point C here is our centroid. Now, sort of completely shifting gears, let's talk about Skittles. So Samantha hates grape Skittles. Ew. After throwing them out, she finds that there are 12 blue, 9 green, 18 red, and 21 pink Skittles in her bag. Write the extended ratio 4. So extended ratios are just fractions, like you're comparing quantities. So the ratio for blue to green is 12 to 18. But if we imagine this as a fraction, we can simplify 12 or 18 into 2 to 3, which is to say that for every 2 blue Skittles, we have 3 green. And so pink to red, this is going to be 21 to 18. When we simplify this, each is divisible by 3. We get that this is 7 to 6, which is to say that for every 7 pink Skittles, there are going to be 6 red Skittles. And the extended ratios are C and D, so blue to green to red. There's 12 blue, there's 9 green, and 18 red. Notice that each one of these numbers are divisible by 3. So when we simplify this extended ratio, we can get 4 to 3 to 6. And 4 and 3 and 6 have no common divisors, and so this is a simplified extended ratio. So for every 4 blue Skittles, there's 3 green Skittles and 6 red Skittles. Red to green to blue. So red is 18, green is 9, and blue is 12. So for these right here, there's still a common ratio of 3. So to simplify this extended ratio, this is 6 to 3 to 4. So for every 6 red Skittles, there are 3 green Skittles and 4 blue Skittles. These are our ratios or extended ratios. And this is the important part. We were talking about ratios because the centroid splits the median into 2 pieces. There's a short piece and a long piece. The short piece comes from the side towards the centroid. So I'm going to label this one here as short. And the long piece comes from the side, the vertex to the centroid. And the ratio is that the short is 1 part to the long's 2 part. And if you're looking at the entire thing, the entire median, that's then worth 3 parts. So the important part here is that the short to long to whole ratio is 1 to 2 to 3. Which is to say, for example, that the long is double the length of the short, or that the whole thing, the whole median, is triple the length of the short. And ratios lend themselves really well to fractions. So I'm just going to rewrite this again. This is going to be short to long to the entire median. That ratio there is 1 to 2 to 3. The short, remember, comes from the side. The long comes from the vertex. And so we can look at these quantities here. So for example, I have 88 here as a short. And so if I want to find what CX is up here, this is going to be short to long. And that part of the ratio is this first 2, it's 1 to 2. So the short piece we know, this is 88, excuse me. The long part is cx, and this is 1 to 2. Notice that from 1 to 2, we're going down here, that's times 2. So to find cx here, we can just simply multiply by 2. So cx here is 88 times 2, which is 176. So that number there is 176. Where are we now? xm. xm is the entire length of the median, and so this is going to be short to whole. This is 1 to 3. And so when we fill this in, the short is 88, the whole is 1 to 3. And so if we want to find the fraction or the value of the whole, notice from 1 to 3, this is times 3. And so 88 times 3, that gives us, what, 240, 264. And so xm here is 264. Now I'm doing extended ratios because we're going to need this in Unit 7. I want you to have seen fractions how to manipulate them. But yes, if your question is, could we simply have added these two right here? 100%. 176 plus 88 does give you 264. And then zy. Zy is going to be this entire length right here. And so because this is the median, I know that this is, 32 here on the left-hand side. And so the entire length is going to be 64. Down here, what I know is that this 88 here happens to be the long side. And so if I'm trying to find CL, this is the short side. So I have long compared to short. And according to our extended ratio, the long is 2 and the short is 1. And so this is going to be 2, 2, 1. The long is 88. We're trying to find the short, which is CL, and the ratio is 2 to 1. So to get from top to bottom here on the right-hand side, we're dividing by 2. So to get from top to bottom, we're also going to divide by 2, and so CL happens to be 44. XL. XL is this piece on the left-hand side, which is equal to 54, because L has to be the midpoint. Last but not least, we have this question right here. We're told that Ly is 96. So that is going to be the whole. And let's find the short one first. So the ratio for whole to short is 3 to 1, according to our extended ratio. And so this is going to be 96 over the short, which is CL. This is equal to 3 to 1. And so if we get from here to here, we divide by 3. So get from here to here, we also divide by 3. This is going to be 32 is equal to LC. You can just double CL to get to YC because we are saying that the short is half the length of the long. In other words, the long is double the short. But I do want to show you one more thing with fractions that we can do, which is let's just take the whole and compare that to the log. So the entire median is going to be 3, and the long is going to be 2. So this is going to be 96 over long equals 3 over 2. And the long here is going to be YC. Now, one last thing we can do with proportions like this is we can cross multiply. I just want to show this to you as a thing that we can do. So this is 3 times the value of YC is equal to 96 times 2, which is 192. To find the value for YC, we divide out by 3. And so here, YC is equal to 64. So again, I just wanted to show you this because you would need to know this for Unit 7 when we get back from winter break. And lastly, we have LZ. We know that this entire length on this side here is 82, with L being the midpoint. And so we split that in half. This is 41. That's 41. So LC is 41. Okay. Now, I will get more pragmatic with these questions on the right-hand side. Notice that 15 here along the length of SQ is the short side. To get from short to long, the ratio is 1 to 2, which means that the long is double the value for short. So long, double, short. And so 15 times 2 is 30. Okay. Or we're going to say that the short is half the long. So I'm looking now at this line right here, where this value, the 38, is actually the long part. And so if short is half the long, 38 divided by 2 happens to be 19. UR is going to be 19. Lastly, we have this right here, where 17 is the short. And so when we're trying to find the long is double the short, and so 17 times 2 happens to be 34, and we filled in all of those vertices on the inside. So PU 34, OR is going to be 38 plus that 19, which is 57. RU is 19, QU is 30, and SQ, which is the entire thing, 30 plus 15, that's going to be 45. Down here, similar story. In fact, I'm going to start with GD. GD is this line right here that we know to be 57. And so the one fact that what we do know is that the whole is triple the short, or in other words, the short is 1/3 the whole. So we take 57 and we divide that by 3, which is 19, we're going to get the length of the short. And as we said before, the long is double the value of the short, so this is going to be 38. When we look on this line right here, that's FJ, we know that 24 is actually the long side because it comes from the vertex. So if we do long to short, so I'm just bringing back proportions just so you see it again. This is 2 to 1. This is 24 to LJ, which is equal to 2 to 1. And I can just divide by 2. So we said already on top that the short is half the long. And this is where you see it, right? The proportion is that you divide by 2 going from top to bottom. And so LJ here happens to be 12. So either by a fraction or by just like physically, verbally interpreting it, you'll get the same answer. This is 12. 14 here. So this is 14 over HL. The ratio for short to long is going to be, it's going to be 1 to 2. So to go from top to bottom like this, we're going to double that value. So HL here happens to be 28. So all of this said and done, what do we have? HE is going to be the 28 plus the 14, which is 42. FJ is going to be the 24 plus the 12, 36. LH, we found that was 28. GL, 19. LD, 38. And we are done.